And the first thing I want to do is very much thank the Group B Strep support organisation, Jane Plum and Phil, for inviting me to chair this afternoon's session along with Alan Cameron. I found today incredibly interesting, and I really do think that there's a danger that in the professions we have very much fallen into two camps. I think what today has left me feeling is that there's a lot of room for discussion and a lot of options about moving forward on this very important issue. So I've found it a really excellent day. There's been a great buzz, a really high quality of information. And I think the debate has been presented in a very balanced, a very responsible way. And I think that's what we should all be doing. It is interesting, this issue of centering care on women. I mean, I actually am coming to believe more and more strongly that we profess to be women-centred as midwives and obstetricians, but we very often aren't. And I myself am currently sitting on the NHS England maternity review, and I think there's a real determination amongst politicians and policy makers to really challenge the professions to be more women-centred, as opposed to either professionally centred or indeed institution-centred. So I think the points we've heard today about our job being to enable women to make choices that are right for them are really very important. And I actually heard the Secretary of State for Health giving the annual lecture that the Health Service Journal holds just last week, and he was very much talking about the democratisation of healthcare, is what he called it, and by that he absolutely meant empowerment of the patient, and in our case of the woman. And so I think the tide is very much flowing against a paternalistic or maternalistic approach. And we're all going to have to understand that and learn to work with that. So I've been very interested today to try and think through from my own point of view, how are we going to help women to really engage with this debate and make their own choices as we go into the future. I'm also really interested in how confusing the situation is. I mean, I've talked to quite a few people over coffee and lunch, and everyone's doing different things, and that just feels to me like it can't be safe. Safety in healthcare does depend on us all understanding what each other are doing and being able to communicate that well to each other. And that's definitely not the case around this subject from what I've heard today. So I think we have got a real responsibility to go away and try and improve things in this incredibly important area. So I'm sure we can do that. And I hope everybody is going to go away determined to do their bit to improving things for the future. So I'll conclude just by saying thank you very much for coming. Thank you to all the brilliant speakers, and thank you very much to GBSS, who I think have organised an absolutely fantastic day. Thank you.